What if I told you that the first 10 minutes of your morning decide the next 10 hours of your life? Think about that for a moment. The way you begin your day either sets you up for momentum or it traps you in resistance. Most people don't lose their strength in the evening. They lose it the very moment they wake up because they allow chaos to dictate their start. But there is a way out. A simple, powerful morning ritual. Not complicated, not unrealistic. A ritual so strong that if you practice it daily, it will completely transform how you think, how you feel, and how you perform. Let us step into it together. When we reflect on the rhythm of life, we often overlook how beginnings shape the entire journey. Just as the dawn sets the stage for the day, the opening moments of our mornings carry a weight that is far greater than we realize. Every sunrise brings with it a hidden choice: to drift passively into the day or to step forward with intention, strength, and clarity. These first decisions, though small in appearance, become the architects of our reality. The truth is, the way you start your day influences the lens through which you see everything that follows. If your first steps are rushed, scattered, and chaotic, the rest of your hours often feel the same. But if your beginning is calm, deliberate, and powerful, it becomes much easier to carry that energy into everything else you do. Think about the stories that inspire us, whether from history, legends, or everyday people we admire. Each of them has something in common: they valued the beginning. A writer knows that the opening line of a story decides whether a reader continues. A musician understands that the first notes determine the tone of the entire song. In the same way, your first acts in the morning establish the rhythm of your day. They might seem ordinary at first glance, but they carry extraordinary influence. This is why a morning ritual matters so deeply. It is not just about what you do. It is about who you become through those actions. Picture two individuals waking at the same time. One rolls over, immediately reaches for the phone, and scrolls through messages, news, or distractions. Within minutes, their mind is scattered, their emotions pulled in different directions, their focus hijacked by noise. The other person rises slowly, breathes deeply, drinks water, perhaps steps into movement or silence before engaging with the outside world. That second person hasn't just woken up, they have chosen to begin with intention. By the time they face the same tasks, challenges, or decisions, their state of mind is more grounded, more centered, and far more resilient. The difference between the two is not luck, not destiny. It is simply the power of how they began. Beginnings are sacred because they carry momentum. Momentum, once set, tends to continue. If you start your day from a place of gratitude, stillness, and strength, you build a wave that carries you forward. If you start in distraction, that too gains speed, dragging you through the day like a current you cannot control. This is why so many people feel tired before the day has even begun. It is not the tasks that exhaust them. It is the absence of a strong beginning that weakens their foundation. The morning is like fertile soil, waiting for seeds. Whatever you plant in those early hours grows throughout the day. If you sow doubt, worry, or hesitation, those seeds multiply. If you sow clarity, discipline, and purpose, the harvest is different. It is stronger, richer, and far more fulfilling. Too often we underestimate these small choices because they do not immediately shout their importance. But like the seed underground, the effect may not be visible instantly. It becomes clear only when the plant begins to grow. Consider a simple example. A student preparing for an important exam. If they spend their morning rushing, skipping breakfast, cramming in panic, and running late, their mind is not steady and their body is not nourished. Even if they studied hard the night before, their performance is likely to suffer because their beginning drained their energy. Now imagine the same student who starts the day with quiet breathing, organizes notes calmly, and fuels the body with care. That student walks into the same exam with a different energy and often with far greater results. The exam hasn't changed. The beginning has. It is no different in professional life, relationships, or personal growth. Every conversation, every task, every challenge is influenced by the energy you carry into it. And that energy is largely created in your first waking moments. By claiming ownership of your beginning, you begin to claim ownership of your entire day. The world is filled with distractions, waiting for you the moment you open your eyes. Notifications, demands, responsibilities. They will always be there. But if you choose to begin before you let them in, you create a buffer that protects your inner world. This is where resilience is born. It is not about controlling the outer world. It is about controlling the state from which you meet it. When the beginning is yours, the rest of the day feels less like a storm and more like a current you can navigate. Beginnings remind us that small actions are never small in truth. Drinking water upon waking might seem minor, but it is the first message you send to your body, I care for you. Sitting in silence for a few minutes might look insignificant, but it is the first message you send to your mind, I choose clarity. Writing down one focus for the day might take seconds, but it is the first message you send to your spirit, I will direct my energy, not scatter it. Each of these actions, repeated day after day, becomes a ritual of power. Over time, the difference compounds. Just as a river carves stone not through force but through persistence, so too your morning ritual carves strength into your life. Beginnings, then, are not just moments in time. They are opportunities to rewrite how the rest of the story unfolds. Every sunrise whispers an invitation. How will you begin today? And the way you answer that question decides far more than you realize. There is a hidden strength in the quiet moments of the morning, yet most people overlook it because they are too quick to rush into the noise of the day. The instant many open their eyes, their hands reach for the phone, their minds jump to responsibilities, and their hearts are already racing before their feet touch the ground. What they do not realize is that the most powerful tool they possess for shaping their day is silence. Silence is often mistaken for emptiness, but in truth it is fullness, it is potential, it is the reset that the mind and spirit crave. It is the place where you strip away distraction and hear the most important voice of all, your own. When you wake up, your mind is in a state of openness. It has not yet been filled with external demands or information. This is the purest moment to align yourself with strength and clarity. If in those first few minutes you surrender to noise, you lose the chance to set your tone. But if you claim those minutes with silence, you gain control of your inner world before the outer world begins to press against you. Just a few breaths taken in stillness, a pause to notice your heartbeat, or a moment to simply acknowledge that you are alive. These are not luxuries, they are necessities for the human spirit. Imagine standing before a mirror clouded with steam. You cannot see your reflection clearly until the fog clears. That is what silence does to your mind. It clears the steam of scattered thoughts, so you see yourself and your day with sharper vision. Without it, you step into the world blurry and unfocused. With it, your direction becomes more certain. A day begun in silence is like a path walked in sunlight. You can see where you are stepping and you move with confidence. Many people confuse silence with idleness. They believe that sitting quietly is wasting time. Yet the opposite is true. In silence, the mind regains energy. In silence, creativity awakens. In silence, decisions become easier. Think of the ocean when it is stormy. You cannot see beneath the waves, but when it is calm, its depth is revealed. The mind is the same. Without calm, you remain on the surface, tossed by every wave. With calm, you reach the depth where real strength lies. A person who starts their morning in silence enters the day with more composure than others. When unexpected challenges arise, they respond instead of reacting. Their calm presence influences not only themselves, but also those around them. A calm person in a chaotic room becomes a source of balance, and that power begins in the morning ritual of stillness. It is in those early quiet moments that you build a shield against the storms of the day. Take, for example, a leader preparing for an important meeting. If they rush in without pause, carrying stress from unread messages and half-finished thoughts, their words stumble and their presence feels scattered. But if they take just a few moments of silence beforehand to breathe deeply and steady themselves, they walk in with composure. Their silence has given them clarity, and clarity commands respect. Nothing external has changed. The meeting, the room, the people are the same. But the inner state is different, and that difference was shaped in silence. Even the body responds to silence. When you begin your morning with stillness, your nervous system resets. The rapid pace of modern life often leaves the body tense before the day has truly started. Silence signals safety to the body, releasing tension and slowing the rush of stress hormones. This allows you to carry yourself with more energy throughout the day, not drained by constant internal resistance. There is also a spiritual element to silence. When you pause and listen in those first minutes, you connect to something larger than yourself. Some call it inner wisdom, others call it intuition, some feel it as a quiet strength. Whatever name it takes, it is the voice that reminds you of what truly matters. It does not shout, it whispers. And you can only hear it when you are still enough to listen. Consider a musician tuning their instrument before a performance. Without tuning, even the most skillful playing will sound wrong. The silence of the morning is your tuning. It aligns your thoughts, emotions, and energy so that the rest of your day is in harmony. Skipping this step is like playing an entire song on an untuned instrument. Every note feels slightly off, even if you are trying your best. But when you tune yourself in silence, even ordinary tasks feel smoother, and extraordinary challenges feel more manageable. The beauty of silence is that it does not require hours. Even 1 minute of stillness can make a profound difference. A single deep breath taken with awareness, a moment of sitting without distraction, a short reflection before moving forward. These are small acts with enormous power. Over time, the consistency of these small acts builds a fortress of calm within you. Life may still bring storms, but the silence you practice daily becomes your anchor. Too many people wait for peace to appear before they are willing to be silent, not realizing that silence itself creates peace. They wait for circumstances to quiet down, but the truth is that circumstances rarely do. The world is noisy, responsibilities are endless, and demands will never stop arriving. That is why you must choose silence instead of waiting for it. You carve it out deliberately, like a sculptor shaping stone, until what remains is clear, powerful, and centered. Silence, then, is not passive. It is an act of strength. To sit in stillness while the world rushes forward is to declare, I will not be controlled by chaos. I will lead myself first. And when you lead yourself in those quiet minutes of the morning, you carry that leadership into every other part of your day. The body is the vessel through which we experience every moment of life, yet too often it is neglected at the very beginning of the day. People rise from their beds, carry their tired limbs into routine, and wonder why they lack vitality. They do not realize that energy does not appear on its own. It is summoned, awakened, and cultivated. A morning that begins without movement is a morning where the body remains half asleep, even while the mind tries to push forward. True strength requires both to be in harmony, and that harmony begins with awakening the body. When you open your eyes each morning, your body has been still for hours. Muscles are stiff, circulation is slower, and the mind has not yet fully connected with physical form. To ignore this state and immediately throw yourself into tasks is like asking an engine to run at full speed without warming up. Eventually, it falters. But if you take a few minutes to move intentionally, you send a signal to every part of yourself, wake up. It is time to live. That signal changes everything. Blood begins to flow, Oxygen reaches the brain, muscles loosen, and a wave of energy starts to spread. Movement in the morning does not need to be overwhelming. It does not require hours in the gym or complicated routines. What it requires is presence. Stretching slowly, feeling the length of your spine, rotating your shoulders, bending forward to release the weight of sleep. These simple actions reconnect you with your body. It is in this connection that energy is born. Think of a river that has been blocked during the night. When you move in the morning, you remove the block and the water flows again. That flow is your vitality, the force that carries you through your tasks, conversations, and challenges. There is a deep truth hidden in movement. The body shapes the mind. When you slump, your thoughts become heavy. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and expand your posture, your thoughts shift to match. This is why a morning ritual of movement is not simply physical, it is psychological. By moving your body with purpose, you train your mind to rise as well. Even the smallest act, like stretching your arms toward the ceiling or taking deliberate steps across the room, can create an internal shift that words alone cannot achieve. Consider the way a warrior prepares before battle. They do not enter the field half asleep, dragging their feet. They warm up their body, awaken their senses, and sharpen their focus. In a similar way, every morning is your battlefield, not against enemies, but against doubt, fatigue, and distraction. Your body is your armor, and movement polishes that armor until it shines. Entering the day without this preparation is like fighting with dull weapons, but beginning with movement equips you with strength and clarity. Even science reflects this truth. When you move, endorphins are released, chemicals that elevate mood and reduce stress. Your metabolism activates, fueling your body with energy. Your lungs expand, filling you with oxygen that clears mental fog. These are not abstract benefits. They are tangible shifts that influence how you speak, how you think, and how you perform. A morning without movement leaves you vulnerable to sluggishness. A morning with movement arms you with resilience. But beyond science lies something deeper. Movement connects you to the present. When you stretch, when you breathe in rhythm, when you feel your heartbeat accelerate, you are no longer lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries. You are here, fully alive, fully aware. This presence is the foundation of power. Without it, the day slips by unnoticed, wasted in autopilot. With it, even ordinary tasks are infused with meaning. Many people see exercise as a chore, something to be endured. But when reframed as a ritual, it becomes sacred. It is no longer about how many calories are burned or how many repetitions are counted. It is about honoring the body that carries you through life. It is about expressing gratitude through movement, saying to yourself, I will take care of you because without you, nothing else is possible. This perspective transforms movement from an obligation into a celebration. The most remarkable part is that you do not need hours to achieve this transformation. 5 to 10 minutes of mindful movement can be enough to awaken energy. A short sequence of stretches, a few push-ups, a walk outside with deep breaths of fresh air. These are simple, accessible acts, yet their impact is enormous. Over time, their consistency matters far more than their length. Like drops of water shaping stone, these minutes carve strength into your life. Imagine two individuals again. One rises, stiff and tired, dragging themselves through the motions of breakfast and work, waiting for coffee to bring life into their body. The other takes just 10 minutes to move, stretch, and breathe deeply before beginning the same tasks. Who enters the day with more energy? Who faces obstacles with more resilience? The difference is obvious, and yet it comes from such a simple choice. When you choose to awaken your body each morning, you are not only building physical strength, you are declaring to yourself that you will not drift through life unconsciously. You are stepping into the day with intention, and intention is where transformation begins. You remind yourself that your body is not just a machine to carry you from task to task, It is the living foundation of your energy, creativity, and courage. The ritual of movement is, at its heart, a reminder of vitality. It says, I am alive, I am strong, and I will rise today with power. Those who practice it know the difference. They do not wait for energy to appear, they create it. They do not let fatigue dictate their pace. They set the pace with movement. And in doing so, they discover that the body, once awakened, becomes a partner to the mind and spirit, carrying them forward into the day with strength that endures. Words hold a power far greater than most people realize. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, your inner dialogue begins to shape the lens through which you see the world. If those first words are complaints, doubts, or self-criticism, you set a tone of heaviness that follows you through the day. But if those words are filled with strength, clarity, and determination, they become the fuel that drives your actions. The morning is when the mind is most receptive, like soft clay waiting to be molded. What you say to yourself in those early moments becomes the pattern your thoughts and behaviors will follow for the hours ahead. There is a saying that thoughts become words, words become actions, and actions become destiny. If this is true, then the words you speak to yourself in the morning are not casual. They are sacred. They are the seeds you plant into the soil of your subconscious. Negative words plant weeds that choke out your potential. Positive, empowering words plant growth that can flourish into confidence and success. The act of speaking with intention transforms your mindset. When you declare to yourself, I rise stronger today, I will focus, I will grow, I will overcome. Your body listens, your mind aligns, and your spirit responds. Consider how often people wake up with words of resistance. I'm so tired. I can't do this. Today is going to be stressful. These sentences may seem harmless, but they are commands given to the subconscious mind. If you tell yourself you are tired, your body finds ways to feel weaker. If you insist that the day will be stressful, your mind searches for stress at every corner. Words do not merely describe reality, they shape it. This is why a morning ritual built around the power of words is essential. It is not about denying challenges or pretending life is perfect. It is about choosing to speak strength into your life instead of surrendering to weakness. Imagine an athlete preparing for competition. If their inner dialogue is filled with doubt, I'm not ready, I will probably lose, I don't belong here, they step onto the field already defeated. But if they choose words of courage, I am prepared, I will give my best, I am strong enough, their body and mind align with determination. The situation has not changed, but the outcome is shaped by the energy that their words created. The same principle applies to every person in daily life. Whether it is facing a work challenge, nurturing relationships, or simply managing daily responsibilities, the words you speak to yourself become the atmosphere you carry with you. The morning is the perfect time to practice affirmations because the mind has not yet been cluttered by external noise. A few sentences repeated with conviction can alter the trajectory of your entire day. These do not have to be long or complicated. They need only to be truthful, empowering, and spoken with belief. For example, today I rise with clarity. Today I am patient and strong. Today I will give my best and accept nothing less than growth. Simple words, but they hold the force of intention. Spoken daily, they reprogram the mind from passivity into power. Some may think this practice is unrealistic, that repeating words will not change reality. But words are not about magic, they are about focus. When you choose strong words, your focus shifts toward opportunity instead of obstacles. A person who begins their morning saying, I will find solutions, naturally searches for solutions throughout the day. A person who begins by saying, everything always goes wrong, unconsciously proves themselves right. The words you use set the path your mind will walk. It is not only the words you speak to yourself that matter, but also the words you allow into your morning. If you begin by listening to negativity, news filled with fear, messages filled with complaints. You let other people's words invade your mind before your own have taken root. Protect your mornings. Fill them with language that uplifts you, not language that drags you into doubt or distraction. This is the discipline of creating an environment of strength where only words that fuel growth are allowed to enter. Think of a gardener tending to plants. They do not allow weeds to grow unchecked because weeds steal water and nutrients. In the same way, you must guard against words that weaken you. If negative words appear, replace them quickly with affirmations of strength. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. Your mind becomes a garden filled with empowering beliefs, and your life begins to reflect that growth. Even small phrases repeated consistently can have profound effects. Saying thank you each morning plants gratitude. Saying I can each morning plants resilience. Saying I will plants determination. Words may be short, but their echoes are long. The repetition of empowering language builds a new identity over time, one that is resilient, focused, and unshaken by external storms. The power of words is also felt physically. When you speak with conviction, your posture changes, your breath deepens, your energy rises. The body responds to verbal cues, reinforcing the belief you are creating. Standing tall while speaking words of power amplifies their impact, creating a loop where words strengthen the body and the body strengthens the words. This synergy is why many great performers, leaders, and creators use affirmations before stepping into challenges. Your morning ritual of words is not about pretending that life is easy. It is about equipping yourself with a shield and a sword made of language. The shield protects you from doubt. The sword cuts through distraction and fear. By speaking with strength, you create resilience. By declaring focus, you invite clarity. By affirming growth, you build the courage to take action. The day ahead may hold uncertainty, but the words you choose each morning give you the power to face it with unwavering determination. Distraction is the hidden thief that robs people of their greatest potential. It does not come loudly or violently. It comes quietly, scattering attention in many directions until energy is drained and progress is slowed. The morning is the decisive moment where you choose whether your day will be guided by clarity or consumed by confusion. Without a clear focus, even the most determined individual finds themselves busy yet unfulfilled, active yet unproductive. But with a single point of direction, you transform chaos into order and ordinary effort into meaningful results. This is why the discipline of choosing one focus each morning holds such power. It is the act of giving your energy a destination. When you rise, your mind is like a canvas that has not yet been painted on. If you allow everything to splash onto it, emails, notifications, endless tasks, you quickly end up with a messy picture. But if you decide in those early hours what the main subject of your painting will be, every stroke begins to align with that vision. A clear focus is that subject. It does not mean ignoring all other responsibilities, but it does mean selecting the one thing that matters most, the one that will make the deepest difference. By doing so, you prevent yourself from being scattered and ensure that even if nothing else is completed, your day still holds value. Many people carry long lists of goals, believing that the more they aim for, the more they will achieve. Yet this approach often leads to frustration. Too many goals dilute attention. The mind, like a beam of light, becomes powerful when concentrated. A magnifying glass can turn sunlight into fire only because it focuses the rays. In the same way, when you concentrate your effort on a single important aim, you create power. Without this focus, energy spreads too thin, and instead of fire, you end up with dim light that barely warms anything. Imagine two archers. One has 10 targets scattered in different directions. He shoots arrow after arrow, trying to hit them all, and though some arrows land, his strength is wasted in the attempt. The second archer fixes his eyes on one target. He steadies his breath, draws his bow, and every arrow moves closer to the center. At the end of the day, The second archer achieves mastery, while the first achieves exhaustion. Life works the same way. You can attempt to hit everything and feel drained, or you can choose one meaningful focus and feel accomplished. To practice this each morning, ask yourself one question. If I could only achieve one meaningful thing today, what would it be? This question cuts through the noise. It forces you to prioritize, to distinguish between the urgent and the truly important. Once that answer is clear, your energy gains direction. Throughout the day, whenever distraction arises, you return to that single focus like a compass returning to north. This is not about doing less, it is about doing what matters most with greater impact. The benefits of this discipline are not only external, but also internal. A person with focus experiences less stress because their mind is not constantly torn between countless unfinished tasks. They feel lighter because clarity removes the burden of indecision. They are more resilient because obstacles are seen as steps on the path, not as roadblocks leading nowhere. Focus does not eliminate challenges, but it transforms them into part of the process toward a chosen aim. Without focus, challenges feel overwhelming. With focus, they feel purposeful. Think of an artist sculpting stone. If their chisel strikes at random, the stone remains rough and formless. But if each strike is aimed with clear vision, the figure within the stone begins to emerge. Your daily actions are those strikes, and your focus is the vision that guides them. The morning ritual of choosing that vision ensures that your effort is not wasted, that each movement of your day contributes to something greater than itself. Distraction, on the other hand, multiplies when there is no focus. Social media, endless messages, minor tasks, all of these become louder when the mind has no clear direction. It is not that these distractions are powerful, it is that the mind without focus is weak against them. Like a boat without a rudder, it drifts wherever the current takes it. But when you set your focus in the morning, you place a rudder in the water. You may still encounter waves, but you steer with purpose. Focus is also contagious. When you begin your day with clarity, those around you feel it. In conversations, your presence is sharper. In teamwork, your contributions are more decisive. In leadership, your vision inspires others to align. A focused individual is magnetic because people naturally gravitate toward those who know where they are going. And all of this begins with a few quiet minutes in the morning, deciding what matters most. It is important to note that focus is not about rigidity. It does not mean you close yourself to everything else. It means you set a clear priority while remaining flexible enough to adapt. A river may bend around obstacles, but it never forgets its destination. In the same way, your focus guides you forward even as you adjust to the realities of life. The key is never to lose sight of your chosen direction. The discipline of focus also builds over time. At first, it may feel difficult to ignore distractions or to choose one priority among many. But with repetition, the mind strengthens. It learns to recognize what is truly important, and soon clarity becomes natural. Each day you practice this, you sharpen your inner compass. Over weeks and months, this habit creates momentum, and momentum leads to transformation. At the end of the day, focus is the difference between wandering and progressing. It is the choice to aim your energy rather than scatter it. Each morning gives you this choice again to drift through the hours with no clear path, or to fix your mind on one purpose that will give meaning to everything else. The practice is simple but profound. Ask the question, choose the aim, and let every action follow. The one who does this daily discovers that even in a noisy world, their life carries the quiet strength of direction. Gratitude is more than a pleasant thought. It is fuel for the spirit. It transforms how you see the world, how you see yourself, and how you approach every task that lies ahead. When practiced each morning, gratitude becomes a source of strength that lifts you above complaints, distractions, and limitations. It is the act of choosing abundance over scarcity, possibility over doubt, and appreciation over neglect. Beginning the day with gratitude does not change the external circumstances immediately, but it changes the inner climate, and that shift of perspective becomes the foundation for everything you do afterward. When you wake, your mind often rushes toward what is missing, what is unfinished, or what is uncertain. Left unchecked, these thoughts become the lens through which the day unfolds. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. It says, "Before I chase what is not yet, let me recognize what already is." This practice softens anxiety and strengthens resolve. Instead of beginning the day with a sense of lack, you begin with a sense of fullness, and fullness gives courage. A person who feels they already stand on solid ground does not approach the day with fear, but with confidence. There is a simple truth: the more you notice what is good, the more good you find. Gratitude sharpens perception. A person who cultivates gratitude sees opportunities others overlook because their mind is tuned not to deficiency, but to abundance. Just as a photographer adjusts their lens to bring hidden details into focus, gratitude adjusts your awareness to reveal treasures that are already present. A sunrise, the breath in your lungs, the presence of people who care for you. These are not small things. They are the foundation of life, yet they are often ignored until they are gone. Gratitude ensures they are recognized now, while they can still inspire strength and joy. Think of two individuals beginning their day. One wakes and immediately complains, "The bed was uncomfortable, the work ahead is heavy, the weather is not ideal." Already, their mind is heavy with resistance. The second wakes and acknowledges even small blessings, the chance to begin again, the roof overhead, the body capable of movement. Their mind is lighter, more open. Both face the same external world, yet their internal world shapes how they will walk through it. Gratitude does not erase difficulties, but it changes how you carry them. A burden lifted with a grateful heart feels less like punishment and more like a challenge to be met with dignity. Scientific studies confirm what wisdom traditions have long taught: gratitude improves emotional health, reduces stress, and even strengthens physical well-being. But beyond research, the lived experience speaks louder. A person who begins with gratitude naturally spreads positivity. Their energy uplifts others. Gratitude is contagious. When you speak it, those around you feel its effect. A thankful word in the morning can brighten the mood of an entire household or team, setting the tone for collective effort and harmony. Practicing gratitude does not need to be complex. It can begin with a quiet moment before rising from bed. Place attention on 3 things you are grateful for: simple, specific, real. One might be the warmth of the blanket, another the sound of birds outside, another the opportunity to work toward your goals. By naming these, you signal to your mind, "I begin the day with awareness of abundance." Over time, this practice creates a deep reservoir of positivity. When difficulties come, you draw strength from this reservoir because your mind has been trained to recognize good even in hard moments. Gratitude also transforms ambition. Often, people think that being thankful means becoming complacent, but the opposite is true. Gratitude fuels ambition with joy rather than desperation. When you are grateful for what you already have, your pursuit of more becomes an expression of growth, not of lack. You are no longer chasing success to fill a void. You are expanding success because you already feel complete. This shift leads to healthier, more sustainable progress. Instead of being burned out by endless striving, you are lifted by appreciation and purpose. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. If he looks at the soil and says, "Nothing grows here, this ground is worthless," his heart is heavy and his labor weak. But if he looks at the soil with gratitude, saying, "This earth has fed me before, and it will again," he works with renewed spirit. Gratitude is that faith in the soil of your life. It reminds you that you have been given much already, and with care and dedication, more will come. In the morning ritual, gratitude serves as the compass that directs your focus toward what matters. It reduces envy, because it reminds you that what you have is enough. It reduces fear because it shows you that you are already supported. It reduces anger because it softens your heart with appreciation. With this foundation, you face the world not as someone lacking, but as someone blessed. And when you feel blessed, you act with generosity, patience, and courage. The beauty of gratitude is that it requires no special tools, no expensive resources, no external permission. It is a choice available to every person, every day. You do not need perfect conditions to practice it. You need only awareness. Some of the most grateful people in history had the least in material possessions, yet their lives radiated joy. This reveals that gratitude is not about what you own. It is about how you see. As you continue the practice, gratitude becomes more than a ritual. It becomes your natural state. Each morning, as you name what you are thankful for, you are training the mind to dwell in appreciation. Eventually, gratitude becomes instinctive. You walk through life noticing beauty where others see nothing, finding lessons where others find complaints, discovering blessings where others see burdens. And this habit, built day by day, reshapes not only your mornings but your entire life. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the quiet power that allows dreams to move from imagination into reality. Without it, even the strongest desires remain only desires, floating in the mind but never touching the ground. With it, even the most challenging goals can be reached, because discipline is the steady force that transforms effort into mastery. Each morning offers the perfect time to strengthen this power, because the way you begin your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If the morning is shaped with discipline, the rest of the day naturally aligns with clarity, structure, and strength. When most people think of self-discipline, they imagine restriction, something that limits pleasure or forces strict control. But true discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. It frees you from the slavery of impulse and the weakness of inconsistency. Without discipline, you are at the mercy of moods, motivated one moment, distracted the next. With discipline, you act regardless of mood, and in that consistency lies freedom. It is the strength to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort, the wisdom to see beyond the pool of immediate gratification. Consider the image of a warrior training in the early hours of the morning. While others sleep, he sharpens his skills, strengthens his body, and steadies his mind. This practice is not glamorous, it is repetitive, sometimes exhausting. Yet each repetition carves resilience into his character. The battle is not won when he faces an opponent, but in the discipline of those quiet mornings when no one is watching. Life is no different. The victories you seek, whether in health, career, or relationships, are won not in sudden bursts of effort, but in the disciplined habits you maintain when the world is silent. The morning ritual of discipline begins with small acts, rising at the time you promised yourself, resisting the temptation to delay, completing the first task with focus. These are simple actions, but they are powerful because they build trust with yourself. Every time you honor your own word, you strengthen your inner foundation. Self-discipline is not about controlling the world, it is about mastering the self. When you can rely on your own consistency, you carry a sense of confidence that no external force can shake. Discipline is also deeply connected to freedom of choice. People often confuse freedom with doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But real freedom comes from self-mastery. If you are controlled by impulses, food cravings, distractions, procrastination, you are not free, you are bound. Discipline breaks these chains. It gives you the ability to say yes or no with intention, to direct your actions toward purpose rather than habit. The morning, when your mind is still unshaped by the noise of the day, is the perfect moment to exercise this choice. Choosing discipline early creates momentum that carries into every decision that follows. Imagine a river flowing downhill. Without structure, it spreads into swamps, stagnant and aimless. But when guided by banks, the same water gains direction and strength, carving valleys, powering mills, shaping landscapes. Discipline is the banks of your energy. Without it, your effort leaks into distractions and loses power. With it, your energy flows toward achievement, cutting paths that transform your life. There is also a deep connection between discipline and respect for yourself and respect for time. Each morning, when you commit to discipline, you declare that your time matters too much to be wasted. You refuse to surrender your hours to laziness or chaos. This respect creates dignity. A disciplined person walks differently, speaks differently, carries themselves with an inner authority that others notice. They inspire without needing to boast, because their actions speak louder than words. But discipline is not about harshness. It must be balanced with compassion. To be disciplined does not mean to be cruel to yourself. It means to hold yourself accountable while understanding your humanity. There will be days when you fall short, when you break your own promise. Discipline in those moments is not about endless self-punishment. It is about returning to the path without delay. The strength lies not in never falling, but in rising quickly every time you do. One way to deepen self-discipline is through intentional challenges. By setting small difficulties for yourself in the morning, such as cold showers, physical exercise, or extended meditation, you train your mind and body to grow comfortable with discomfort. These challenges are symbolic. If you can overcome the smaller battles in the morning, you prepare yourself for the larger battles of the day. You build evidence that you are capable of choosing strength over weakness, and that evidence accumulates into unshakable belief. Think also of the ripple effect of discipline. When you begin your day with order, it spreads outward. A disciplined morning leads to a focused afternoon, a productive evening and restful sleep. Over weeks and months, this consistency compounds. Suddenly, projects that once seemed overwhelming are completed. Habits that once seemed impossible are ingrained, and goals that once felt distant are achieved. What appeared to be a single act of will in the morning becomes, over time, a force that transforms your entire life. Ultimately, self-discipline is not about deprivation. It is about direction. It is the invisible hand that guides you toward becoming who you were meant to be. Each morning gives you the chance to strengthen this power, to prove once again that you can act according to purpose rather than impulse. Every day you practice, you add one more brick to the foundation of your inner fortress. And as this fortress grows, you stand taller, steadier, more unshakable in the face of life's storms. Reflection is the mirror through which you see yourself clearly, and intentional planning is the compass that guides where you will go. Without reflection, you move blindly, repeating the same patterns without learning. Without planning, you move without direction, spending energy but reaching nowhere. Together, reflection and planning turn your mornings into a time of wisdom and intention. They allow you to carry not only energy into the day, but also clarity and strategy. In the quiet of the morning, when the noise of the world has not yet crowded your mind, you hold the power to pause, to think, and to choose the path ahead. Reflection begins with honesty. It is not about criticizing yourself, but about seeing things as they are. Too often, people live on autopilot, reacting to circumstances instead of observing them. They repeat mistakes because they never pause to learn from them. A morning ritual of reflection changes this. It asks, what did I learn yesterday? Where did I grow? Where did I fall short? What can I do differently today? These questions bring awareness. Awareness is the seed of growth. Without it, even the strongest desire for change is wasted. Because you cannot change what you refuse to see. When you take a few minutes each morning to reflect, you give yourself the gift of perspective. Yesterday's challenges no longer feel like failures. They become teachers. Yesterday's successes are not just forgotten. They become encouragement. Reflection connects the pieces of your life into a coherent picture, reminding you that each day is not isolated, but part of a larger journey. With this perspective, even small actions gain meaning because you see how they contribute to a greater whole. After reflection comes planning, and this step is what transforms insight into action. Planning is not about controlling every detail of the day, for life will always bring surprises. It is about setting direction. Just as a sailor cannot control the winds, but can adjust the sails, you cannot control every event, but you can choose how you will respond. Planning gives you that power. By deciding in the morning what matters most, you prepare yourself to navigate the storms with steadiness rather than confusion. A powerful way to plan is through prioritization. Ask yourself, what 3 actions today will move me closer to my goals? These are not ordinary tasks, but the ones that create real progress. They may not always be urgent, but they are important. By writing them down and committing to them, you ensure that your energy is invested where it counts. This simple act prevents the day from being swallowed by distractions. Even if everything else is disrupted, completing those priorities makes the day meaningful. Intentional planning also includes imagining the challenges you may face. Instead of being surprised by difficulties, you prepare for them. If you know that distractions, fatigue, or negative emotions may arise, you can plan strategies in advance: short breaks for focus, healthy food for energy, breathing practices for calm. By anticipating obstacles, you turn them into stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. This practice strengthens resilience because nothing catches you completely off guard. Reflection and planning also shape your inner world. A mind without reflection grows restless because it is full of unprocessed experiences. A mind without planning grows anxious because it feels unprepared. But when you reflect, you bring peace by making sense of what has happened. When you plan, you bring confidence by preparing for what will happen. Together, they create balance, peace with the past, readiness for the future. And this balance allows you to live the present day with greater presence and joy. Imagine a builder beginning work each day without checking yesterday's progress and without reviewing the blueprint. The result would be confusion, wasted effort, and a structure that may collapse. But when the builder reflects on what has been done and plans what must be done next, each brick is laid with intention, and the building rises strong. Your life is no different. Reflection is reviewing the progress, and planning is setting the next steps. Without them, you may work hard yet end up with little. With them, every effort contributes to the foundation of your future. This practice also nurtures gratitude and humility. When you reflect, you recognize not only your own efforts, but also the support of others and the opportunities life has given you. This prevents arrogance and deepens appreciation. When you plan, you acknowledge that you do not control everything, but you still prepare to do your part. This balance of humility and responsibility creates wisdom. You walk into the day with both confidence and openness, ready to act but also ready to adapt. Over time, the habit of reflection and planning compounds. Each day you learn a little more about yourself, and each day you align your actions a little more closely with your purpose. This steady accumulation of clarity and intention leads to transformation. You no longer live reactively, pushed by circumstances. You live proactively, guided by vision, and this vision, strengthened every morning, becomes the light that shapes not only your day, but your destiny. The ritual does not need to be long. Even 10 minutes of reflection and planning can shift the course of a day. What matters is consistency. Like drops of water carving stone, daily practice creates lasting change. The mind grows sharper, decisions grow wiser, and actions grow more effective. Reflection gives meaning to the past, planning gives power to the future, and together they give depth to the present. At the end, the morning ritual of reflection and intentional planning is the art of aligning your life with awareness and purpose. It is the practice of looking inward before you move outward, of choosing direction before you take steps, of seeing clearly before you act boldly. With this ritual, your mornings become not just a time of waking, but a time of awakening. Every morning, life offers you a new beginning, a fresh page upon which you can write the story of who you are becoming. The rituals you choose at sunrise, whether stillness, gratitude, focus, or discipline, are not just small acts, they are declarations. They declare to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you refuse to drift aimlessly, that you are here to live with clarity, with strength, and with purpose. The truth is, transformation does not arrive in one dramatic leap. It is built, piece by piece, in the quiet habits of each day. When you rise with awareness, when you choose gratitude over complaint, when you direct your energy with focus, and when you carry yourself with discipline, you are not just preparing for a single day, you are shaping the trajectory of your entire life. So, as you walk away from this moment, remember this: your mornings are not to be wasted. They are the foundation of your destiny. Protect them, shape them, honor them. Because how you start is how you live, and how you live becomes who you are. The choice is always yours. Each sunrise whispers the same invitation: start strong, live intentionally, and transform your life.